Hello, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch episode 4 of David Needs a Job. My name is David Allen Gay, and in this episode, I'm going to share with you my experiences of dealing with temporary job placement agencies. To begin, after I worked for 17 years at my last job, I needed to find some sort of work. And while I was going for full-time job interviews, I tried to apply for temporary work at various agencies here in Toronto. And I'll tell you something, trying to find a temp job is almost as hard as trying to find a full-time one. And I can't understand for the life of me why, but that's just the way it works. I call a lot of temporary agencies and they simply tell me that they're not hiring. Well, there was this one temporary agency that I dealt with, actually I won't mention the name, but let's just say they're no friend of mine. Uh, I went to one temporary agency and shared my situation with them over the phone. And, the woman I spoke to, she seemed really sympathetic. She felt bad for me. And she said, why don't you come in for an interview? Let's talk. And I was kind of encouraged by that. So I went in for my first interview. We had a nice conversation. And she was saying stuff to me like, the economy's so tough. I feel for you. Everybody's suffering. I mean, I know what it's like. And, that's the sort of thing that you don't hear at interviews. And it's usually a very formal exercise, and here she is talking to me like I'm just a regular, ordinary person having a conversation about the economy and not asking me any questions whatsoever about my background. So when the interview was finally done, I was getting ready to go and put my jacket on and shake her hand for the time spent and ask her when was the next time I could talk with her. She said to me, do you have time for a WMIS test? And I didn't know what a WMIS test was, so I asked. And she told me that WMIS is basically a set of rules and regulations and procedures that you must follow in order to be a temp worker here in Ontario. To give you a general idea of what WMIS is, it involves understanding how to handle certain products that have symbols on them, such as flammability, hazardous, toxic, whatever. It's normally used for warehouse storage and special quarantine areas. But even if you are an office worker and you're doing temp work as an office worker, you still have to know what WMIS is. And WMIS involves taking a test after watching some videos and reading some literature. And I asked her, how long would this take? And she said, well, you would need to stay here for the rest of the day, which in my case was half a day, seeing that I went for an afternoon appointment. And I was hungry. I wanted to go to Tim Hortons to grab something to eat and a cup of coffee. But, I felt like we connected. I felt like I was talking with this person on a one-to-one level, and I didn't want to lose the momentum from my interview. So I said, sure, why not? So I went for the WMIS test, and sure enough, it did take about 3 hours. Videos, literature, took a quiz, got 100%, did not miss one question, so, cookie for the IT guy. And she said I did very well, and she would contact me when my second interview came through. And sure enough, the second interview, I didn't have to wait a few days too long for that. Went in for my second interview, but it was basically a formality. She said to me, we want you to be a part of the company. Here's your timesheets. Here's documentation about the company, and here's what you need to do if you're ever in a situation during your temporary assignment and you need to call somebody. You need to know what to do. So I took this package, but I'm bouncing up and down without showing it. I was so happy. Even when I walked out of the temporary agency on my way home, I'm like dancing and boogieing because I'm thinking, this is great. I'm going to have the temporary job at least to help me fund my job search and pay my bills. And if I have money left over from paying my bills and my rent, I'll be able to watch that new Avengers movie. So, I'm all set and good to go. So I'm in a great mood, and I'm even in a great mood dancing and boogieing as I'm doing my laundry, getting my clothes ready for the first day of my temp job when the call comes through, get my shirts washed and pressed, getting my suit looked at, my shoes shine. I'm just like boogieing and boogieing, like John Travolta. And, I'm even boogieing and waiting by the phone, I can't wait to work and get back to work, do temporary work, standing by the phone, waiting, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Week, 2 weeks. Not exactly dancing now. 3 weeks. And at 3 weeks, not only am I not dancing anymore, and I've kind of lost my happy momentum, but I'm also wondering what the hell's going on. Where's my? I got the timesheets. I got my documentation. I have my telephone number for my contact in case something comes up, or I have to follow up with a new assignment after I complete the old one. Why am I not getting any phone calls? Maybe somebody went on vacation. Maybe somebody died. I don't know. I have to find out what happened because maybe someone forgot my file. So I called the temporary agency back and got the same person who spoke with me, who expressed sympathy for my situation, had 2 interviews with, had a women's test taken with, and I was saying, look, okay, I've got my timesheets right here. I'm ready to go. I'm still waiting. And she goes to me over the phone, oh, there's no work for you. And, it's like tilt. And I'm thinking, huh? And I go, oh, I understand. You mean there's no work for me yet? Like I have to wait maybe a couple of more days. And she goes, no, sir, there's no work for you at all. And I'm going, well, wait a minute, hold on a minute. Wait, I came in for 2 interviews, did the women's test, allocated my half day to you, and put my job search on hold for 3 weeks, assuming that I was ready and raring to go. I mean, I got 100% in my women's test. And she goes, well, that's just standard procedure, sir. When the market does pick up, we will have temporary agents ready to go because they've already done their test. It's the standard procedure. It's nothing that you should be upset about. But yeah, I was kind of upset about that because, as I mentioned just earlier, I put my job search on hold. And the company in question may have a standard procedure or a policy to follow, but I've got a standard procedure and a policy to follow too when I'm being jerked around and made a fool. And yeah, I let her have it over the phone. I was not very happy at all. I explained to her that, I was ready to go. I thought you understood my situation. I thought you understood me as a job seeker, and you felt bad for me. And I was very upset, and I followed through on said standard procedure when I'm upset and told her that I didn't want to deal with their company no more. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And that's not the only time that I had a bit of a bad situation with the temporary agency. There's another temporary agency I went to that wanted to look for background actors. Now, background actors are those people who, well, they're in the background. You might see them in the movie, walking up the street or having a coffee while the main stars act out their lines. They're kind of like scenery. Think of them as basically walking, talking tables and posters. So I expressed interest in that. I said, okay, look, I'm not a movie star. I'm not a very Brad Pitt kind of guy, but perhaps there's something I could do for the agency. Perhaps I could be a a temporary actor or a background actor, or even be in a commercial. She said, well, yes, we do have placements for TV shows, movies, as for background actors. There's no qualifications required. All you have to do is be available and put down $150. And I nearly fainted, like, whoa, wait, hold on a minute. I have to pay to get a job? Wait, why? Oh, it's basically a fee for getting the job. And I'm going, well, wait a minute. No offense, ma'am, but I worked in IT for nearly 20 years, and each job I never had to pay for my IT work, and you're telling me I have to pay to be scenery? Thanks, but no thanks. But you want to know something? This is exactly what us job seekers have to put up with. These people out there, they know what the economy is like. They know it's the age of austerity and the jobless recovery, and everybody has to do more with less, and there are going to be people like you and me outside looking in, trying to find work, and they know it, and they want to take us for a ride. They want to play us for suckers, fools, and chumps. Well, guess what? I'm not a sucker. I'm not a fool. I'm not a chump. I still have my marbles and my common sense. there's only so far I'm going to go to get a job, and certainly paying for a job is not going to be one of those things that I'll do. But that's my piece for today. That's this today's episode done, and I thank you once again for taking the time to watch episode 4. Looking forward to seeing you again in episode 5. Thanks again. Have a good day. Bye for now.